Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harping on Rugby preview show on our YouTube channel. Please don't be shy with the like and/or subscribe button if you can. Join me to look ahead to Leinster's Champions Cup semi-final as someone earning his 57th cap. Welcome back to Mr. Mark Jackson.
Thanks for having me back, Jeff.
No problem. Great to see you. Okay, well, now it's time to look at our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Leinster v Northampton Saints in the semifinals of the 24-25 Investec Champions Cup. The game is taking place at the Aviva Stadium on Saturday, May the 2nd, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. TV coverage is on RTE2 and Premier Sports 1. Leinster named their matchday squad at lunchtime on Friday. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there on the screen. Or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Now, Mark has picked out some points about the Leinster team for us, starting with their front row.
Yeah, possibly one of the points for discussion is Cian Healy starting, but we've seen over this season especially how Leinster like to start with Cian and really run him into the ground for 30 minutes and then bring on Andrew Porter. The only problem with this is if any injuries happen, and that's the big thing we need to talk about here with regards to the Leinster team. Northampton have a young adventurous front row in terms of how they play around the park, but wouldn't be exactly top notch in terms of scrummaging or their tight play. So I expect Leinster to have an upper hand here, but hopefully no injuries come into play.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. All right, we've been calling it the Porter Protocol. I mean, it does seem a good idea on paper. Like you say, you've got Church with his experience coming on to maybe empty the tank in the early stages, and with Porter coming on. But like you say, if Porter then goes on to get injured, you're asking Healy to come back on. I suppose it is a gamble, but I suppose they see it's a risk reward thing. They want to get the benefits of Porter in the closing stages.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say Jack Boyle is not a bad option either, but Jack probably is a little bit inexperienced at this level yet. Maybe a year or two down the line, yeah, he would be almost anybody you could trust as well. But Cian Healy will give everything he has, and hopefully, as we say, no injuries occur for either him or Porter.
Yeah, Jack Boyle. I thought he did really well last week, and he's definitely on the rise this season, getting involved in the Irish setup as well. But like you say, I mean, you look at what you have and the experience in the big matches like this, and Church. I think he fits the bill for this brief anyway. But we just like you say, we just hope it all goes well.
Not
Oh,
only the starting front row, sorry, but our bench front row really should make an impact as well
yeah,
compared to Northampton's. You
absolutely.
know,
Yeah,
we've all said that Northampton have a good starting 15, but we should have it in the 23. And I think the big front row impact from Slimani and Porter should see us through there.
yeah, and of course, all throughout the pack. I mean, we got the news of James Ryan up to this week. I was worried we may not see James again for the season, but it does seem he is on the mend and could make it back. But for now, we've got RG and Joe McCarthy in that second row, and plus a big shout out to Max Deegan as well, starting at 6. He's well deserved it. Obviously, we were worried about Conan a couple of weeks ago, and he's been playing starting at 6, but I think Max has definitely earned that. So it's a strong pack all round.
Yeah, definitely. In Deegan's case, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, you might have been worried at this stage of the season putting him in at 23, but his form has been consistent and he's really stepped up to the mark this year.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll have a look at the backs then. You want to focus on the halfbacks?
Yeah, I think both teams have excellent sets of halfbacks. Probably the four with Mitchell and Finn Smith, with JGP and with Sam will probably go on the Lions tour. And I think both teams will probably want to maximize their minutes on the pitch on Saturday. I think probably Leinster, no disrespect to Luke McGrath or Ross Byrne, but the more time we get our starting halfbacks on the pitch, we're probably going to go all the better for it. I think how we play, we've had a few issues with speed of ball. I think with Luke and Ross when they've come on at times, and I think that will come into play massively on Saturday. I think that the form both Prendergast and Gibson Park have shown they deserve to go on the Lions tour, and they're just that bit better for us when they stay on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating battle between the two sets of halfbacks there. I think that could be where things are won or lost. A couple of other shout outs as well. I mean, it was kind of leaked early on Friday that Jordy Barrett would be on the bench. I mean, you know when you heard about a year ago that he was coming, to think that he'd even be considered in anything in any number greater than 15 wouldn't have been heard of. But he's a good option to come on off the bench, and of course he can cover a couple of positions as well.
He can. His versatility is great for Leinster. But listen, the guy has had a stellar time in Dublin, and it's a no offense to Robbie Henshaw, a fellow hometown man of myself, and he's a great player. But I would have preferred Geordie to start, and Robbie's always given his all. And listen, any two of the three that we have will always give their best. And listen, it's not a bad threesome to have there in the centre.
Absolutely, and of course, we talked about Max Deegan earning his spot in this starting lineup in such a big game. Well, the same can be said of Tommy O'Brien. He's having an amazing season. He's kept himself injury free, and he starts on the right wing.
Listen, Tommy O'Brien is probably a bit older than people realize. He's had so many injuries over the years. He's never really had that run of games, and he's shown what he can do with an injury-free run. The guy's electric. He's got something that we don't produce too many of in Ireland, and it's pure pace. And listen, Northampton are known for their pace and their backs, and I think both Tommy's work and attack and defence will come in very, very handy on Saturday.
Absolutely. He's had a habit of showing us something he can do, different aspect to his game every week and making the highlight reels each time. So hopefully we'll see more of that at the weekend. Okay, so now it's time to have a quick look at the Northampton Saints. This time last year, they came into the semifinal as Premiership leaders and, of course, went on to win the title, but it hasn't been plain sailing this time around. They now sit seventh with 7 wins and 8 defeats with a good few names unavailable to injury. What do you make of their lineup overall?
They're a mid-table team in the Premiership, which I think they've sort of flattered to deceive a little bit at times. They've put a lot of effort into Europe this year. They've definitely done more so than any other England team in Europe. Look more dangerous when they're on form, but like most Premiership teams, they will give you chances. Again, attack is their strength. Defense, not so much. You know, they conceded tries against Castra, and I think we're on a different level to Castra, to be honest with you. And if Northampton give Leinster the amount of opportunities to come into the game as they did to their French opposition in the last game, I think we'll see a Leinster win. But listen, this is not going to be easy. We thought we had it easy last year at the start, and they came back into the game very well. They're a very well coached side. They're a very adventurous side. I think they'll go for it from the off. So our defense needs to be on point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the key point there is that they're focusing on Europe because I think we all remember what happened. It was exactly 1 year ago, almost to the day, when they went to Croke Park and came very close towards the end of nicking it off us, and they would have been focusing. You know, the way the draw panned out, they might have anticipated they could be facing us again, so this would have been on their radar. So even with a lot of names on the injury list, you can see a team effort coming from them and be determined, and there won't be a whole lot of fear when the game kicks off.
There'll be zero fear. Listen, for the last 2 weeks, they've been able to mix and match to their wants, which is something that the Premiership teams haven't been able to do because Northampton have put the effort into their Champions Cup teams. So, listen, they've had some good results the last few weeks in the Premiership. They're a solid team. I just think we'll have too much for them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a quick look at the officials now. It's mostly French lineup there with Pierre Brousset holding the whistle. And the weather for Dublin 4. Now, we get our weather from AccuWeather.com, and I'm sure they're very reliable and stuff, but I do not believe any forecast for Dublin that's 0% rain. But sure, we'll see what happens on the day. It's a good forecast, clear, little or no wind, no rain. That's just what you want on Saturday evening for Champions Cup rugby. So we'll see if that pans out. Okay, Mark, now it's time to take a quick look at the other semifinal, which is being played on Sunday. It's a repeat of last season's Top 14 final between Bordeaux and Toulouse, which I seem to recall was a tad one-sided. How do you see this one going?
Well, I personally can't see the one-sidedness of last year's game. I think Bordeaux might score this time. Listen, Toulouse have shipped some serious injuries over the course of the season, and with the rumors coming out about Ramos being a doubt as well, you know, this is a game that you literally flick a coin. you know, hopefully it's an exciting game. Sometimes when you get French teams at the end of the season, they don't exactly serve up great fare, but I have a feeling this could be an exciting game.
Absolutely. Looks really good. And of course, there's also this weekend the Challenge Cup semifinals. You'll have Edinburgh playing Bath and Lyon playing Racing 92. Okay, so let's head on the block time, Mark. How do you see it going at the Aviva on Saturday?
We could be really cliched and say the subs are going to make a difference here, but they really are. It just depends on when they're used and how they're used. I think we'll always be that much better than Northampton. I think we'll pull away, and I can't see them almost coming back from our mistakes as well as their own good play last year. I think if we get ahead, we'll stay ahead. I see us winning by about 17 to 20 points.
Okay. Well, we said a lot on this pod this season about how we've noticed Leinster do seem to be focused. You do see a difference in their approach and their attitude, their overall mentality when even going from URC to the Champions Cup. And of course, given how the way things went in Hanafi last weekend, we definitely hope that's the case this week. But if it's true to form, what we've seen so far this season in the Champions Cup, hopefully we will have the better of them. Okay, Mark, we're going to leave it there. Many thanks for joining us this weekend. I hope to have you on again soon. Thanks, man.
Cheers, Jeff. Thanks, William.
No problem. And many thanks to you all for checking out our latest preview show. If you tune into Dublin South FM for the 5 o'clock news, you'll catch our latest Harpin segment there. Then be sure to enjoy the match wherever you are. Leave a comment on our Facebook page after the full-time whistle. We will, of course, have our wrap pod for you, which we'll record on Sunday night. Hopefully, you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.